Okay, so we're going to continue on part 2, which will introduce on identifying a typical motor skills performance and what to observe and how to assess, which mostly focusing on teachers doing assessment or screening to detect delay in motor skills performance. Okay, before that, I would like, before we start on today's session, I would like to recall on yesterday's sharing. Okay, yesterday we talked about what is motor skills. Okay, we talk about typical development for gross and fine motor skills. At what age a child should be able to reach certain skills, and we'll also discuss about the influence of sensory processing and visual perception on motor skills. Okay, we touched on the tree system, if you can remember. The can someone recall the tree system that we talked yesterday? Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyone who wants to volunteer? What are the three systems that we um okay, someone says pyramid of learning. Okay. Uh okay, we talk about the pyramid of learning, yes. Okay, what are the three systems that is the base of the pyramid of learning?
Tactile,
Talk about vestibular,
vestibular,
proprioceptive,
and
Yes.
proprioception, and vestibular and tactile.
Yes, yes, that's true. Okay, we talk about the tactile, vestibular, and the proprioceptive. Okay, so for tactile, can somebody tell me how it affects motor skills development for children? Okay, so okay, how tactile
It's
affects motor skills?
since this is a sense of touch,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
it has something to do with the activities that is involving by hands of a learner or
Yeah.
through the hand of the learner,
Yes, that's
like
true.
manipulation of like balls by
Okay.
touching through the hand. Vestibular,
Yes.
it has a system that includes part of the inner ear that helps to
Mm.
control balance. It has something
Yes.
to do with the balance,
Mm-hmm.
the movement. So it keeps a certain individual to be stable.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
And the last
true.
is proprioception. It has something to do with the sense in the muscles and joints that
Mm-hmm.
tells where our body parts are. Okay.
Yes. And how does it proprio affects motor skills?
Well, it since it has something to do with mm,
The sense
the
in the muscles, right?
sense of the
Okay.
muscles and
Eh,
joints.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So it also it in terms of motor skills, it helps in movement of the body. Okay. So
Yeah,
how okay. So
something to do
how
with that.
the child wants to plan their body movement, okay, how to control the body. Okay, so that's for proprio. Good. Okay. So so everybody's got the point for yesterday's session. Okay, what about visual perception? How does it affect motor skills?
it's help our child or our student to enhance their skill in a writing skill or
Mm-hmm.
copying, and then
I don't hear the sound.
Sorry? Someone Someone interrupt.
Are you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So for visual perception, it helps our children
Mm-hmm.
in to enhance their skill in writing, in reading. So before we go to the next,
I don't
uh,
hear the sound. Could you please
you can
maybe,
hear my
I think
Okay,
something
someone
is going
says
wrong with the
that
sound.
he cannot hear the sound. So okay, so good. The teacher says that visual perceptions affects on reading and writing, which is true. Okay, so reading and writing is the most important task, most important motor task, which children usually face at school. Okay, so okay, on to our topics today. Okay, so this is the outline of the content of today's sharing. Okay, which we are going to learn about what to observe and how to do screening to the students. Okay. Okay. So think about your students right now. Okay, can you tell me, think about one of your students. Okay, is there any sign of motor skills that you think your student is going through? Can you give me an example?
Okay, can I have some example about the difficulties of motor skill from the students? For example,
Mm-hmm.
they very hard to write
Okay,
using
good.
the pen or pencil to write or to um the difficulty to do with the toys. For example, they come from the kindergarten, they cannot
Mm.
touch, they cannot play the toys.
Hold on a second. Because I hear noise in your
Not
background. I
good?
think, yeah, Mr. Tooch, I think you have to mute
Yeah,
your microphone.
yeah.
Okay,
Now
can
you
you hear me
can.
clearly?
No. Okay, now you can hear me
Okay.
clearly. Yeah,
Yeah.
some difficulty of motor skill of student. For example,
Mm-hmm.
they can hard to use the pen or pencil to write the
Mm-hmm.
letter. Yeah, difficulty to play with the toys if the
Mm-hmm.
student come from the kindergarten. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And
Okay.
difficulty to play the playground with friend,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
You,
difficulty with holding the pencil.
yeah.
Okay, difficulty you can see that a child with motor skill difficulties is difficult to participate in playground. Okay,
Yes.
is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Tooch, can you hear me? Because everyone can hear me
I can
clearly.
hear you clearly.
Yeah.
It's nice voice too.
Yeah, I hear
Okay.
you too. Yeah, I hear you.
Uh, okay. So
So
I think
the
it's
people with special needs, they have so many problems with sensory. That
mm-hmm,
means they have some problem with motor skill. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Uh, are you saying that children with motor skill difficulties is also having difficulties with sensory? Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's true. Okay, talking about sensory, okay, yes, sensory does do a lot on motor skills. Okay, but also it also affects behavior. Okay, so the topic sensory is like I said yesterday, is a big topic. Okay, so sometimes when we talk about sensory, there are also modulation issues. Okay, such as the hyposensitivities and hypersensitivities. The child doesn't like to be touched, or the child is when the child touch certain textures, he refuse and he cries. That is more towards sensory modulation issues. Okay, so for today, for our course today, we going to talk about sensory motor issues. Okay, which I explained a bit yesterday. So yes, I do agree that sensory of children with sensory issues also have a lot of motor skills problems. Okay. So any other examples of motor skills difficulties that you find in your children, in your students?
May I share my experience?
Mm-hmm.
What, except for
Okay.
those that you have mentioned earlier, I also have some students, like when we are doing some, we are singing action songs or nursery rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Once they can raise their right hand, but they can't move the other hand at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they use their arms, they can't move their legs properly. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they become disoriented, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the student might be having difficulties coordinating his body parts
yes,
using the left side,
that's
the left side of the body and the right side of the body. Yes, that's a part of motor skills difficulties. Or sometimes we call it as bilateral coordination. Okay, it's the coordination of two sides of the body. Okay. Okay, so that is examples of motor skill difficulties that you usually face with your students. Okay, so how to assess? Okay, one way to identify if your students is having difficulties on motor skills is through observation, and I'm sure teachers are very good at this. Okay, to do that, you might also need a checklist, okay, to guide your observation. So having a checklist might help you to observe your students in the class, okay. I will show you examples of checklists that I usually use with teachers during school visit. Also, teachers can do screening to identify areas of delay in motor skills development. It will also assist in planning appropriate activities in classroom to meet the child's individual's need. Okay, so body posture. Okay, before I start, I would like to stress on body posture because body posture is the first element that an OT will observe in class. Okay, so when handled correctly, this can make a difference to a struggling student. Okay. And also there is a research saying that humans spend from 8 to 25 years in educational environment. We spend in chair sitting position for quite long time, and this can put stress on our spine. So it is very important to maintain a good body posture so that we don't hurt our back. Okay. Good body posture means the body is relaxed because the muscles are not straining to stay upright. When we adopt a good posture, the vertebrae, the spine, our spine are stacked neatly on top of one another. So it doesn't stress much, okay? And incorrect seated posture can lead to fatigue, okay, neck and back strains, and consequently, you can see students' focus and comfort will decline. Okay. Okay, this is example of or checklist for position when writing on a desk. Okay, so you have to make sure that the child's feet is flat on the floor. Make sure that the table is at appropriate height. Okay, at usually at elbow height. Okay, hips, knees, and ankles at 90 degrees. Okay. So how to correct a poor sitting position? You can use a cushion if the table is too high. Okay, you can put also a foot blocks so that the foot is not hanging. Okay. Okay, so this is the example of cushion. Use cushion to heighten position when writing. Okay, again, using slant board to elevate position of the paper when writing or coloring activities. Okay, this one using foot box. Okay, or you can use any box that is suitable for the child to make sure that the feet are flat on the surface. Okay, so this is another example of cushion. Okay, to heighten the position when desk is too high. Okay. Can someone mute their microphone? Because I can see a background noise. Sorry, I can hear background noise. Okay, so for this one, correct and incorrect. Which one do you think is the correct position for a child? Is it A or B?
B, of course.
B. Yes. Yes, good. Okay, A. So what can you see in A?
W sitting position.
Yes, good. Okay. So the child is in W sitting position. The posture of the child is a bit slouching. Okay. So this, as I said earlier, this can cause stress to the spine, and in long term can affect something like back pain, injury to the spine as well. Okay, so we do not want to encourage students to sit in W sitting, okay, especially special needs children. Usually when I go to school visit, there's a lot of special needs children who likes to sit like W sitting, okay. Okay, so why do children W sit? Okay, and why we don't want to encourage them to W sit? Okay, children who have weak core muscles tend to W sit, as this position provides them with wider base of support. Okay, in this position, children are able to hold themselves upright without having to work as hard on maintaining their balance. Okay, so that depends on the wide base of support to sit upright rather than depending on their core muscles to sit. Okay, so it's not really good. Okay, so having a weak core muscle may also affect on their fine motor development. So usually children with who W sit, they also have weak core muscles, which also consequently affecting their fine motor skills. Okay. For other children, especially aged 3 years and below, uh, it may initially be a comfortable position to sit in, and then over time, if we do not correct the W sit position, they will develop muscle tightness, making it uncomfortable to sit in other way. Okay, so for children 3 years and below, okay, if we see them, uh, W sit, we need to encourage them to sit up properly. Okay. Um, Okay, I will show you the correct position in the next slides. Okay, so why we do not want to why we do not want children to W sit is because also it can cause pigeon-toed walking due to tightness and shortened muscles of the leg. Okay, which these can impact on the child's ability in gross motor skills as well, such as activities like jumping, running, climbing, or riding a bike. Okay. Okay, this is an example of walking pattern for a child. Okay, the normal one is in the left box. The one in the red circle is the walking pattern for a child who W sit. Okay, you can see that in the red circle, the child walks inwards. Okay, and this may lead to difficulties in balancing activities, such as walking on straight lines, stand on one feet, and also other gross motor skills activities that I just said previously, like jumping, running, climbing, or riding a bike. Okay, how to correct WC? Okay, we can encourage a child to do pretzel sitting. Okay, I will show you the example. Or long sitting, side sitting, or we can do activities while sitting on the chair or in prone position. Okay. When they run easy for them, yes, that's true. Because their walking pattern is inward. So when they run, they tend to fall. Okay, and they become not stable. Okay, check. Okay, so this is the example of pretzel sitting. Okay, and the long sitting here. Okay, also side sitting. Okay, sit on a chair. Also, you can do prone position, especially for children who are active. Prone position is good for them. Okay, also for children who has weak muscles, prone you can encourage prone position as well. Okay. Okay, for this picture, what can you see about this picture?
They are not sitting appropriate sitting.
Yes. Okay. It's the child is slouching. Okay. Okay. He is holding on to the desk to write. Okay. So this also can affect on the child performance in the class. The child may become easily fatigued. Okay, when seated like this. Also, they lost focus. Okay, and teacher may think that the child is not interested with lessons. However, it's not because they are not interested. It's just that their body posture is not correct. So they become easily fatigued. Okay. Yes, easy for them to sleep as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So for this class, okay, what do you think you can do about it? Because it's this class, the whole class, they have this desk. They don't have chairs, so they use they do the activities here. Okay, what can you suggest?
I think that's the Chinese, how can I say, the adaptive Chinese chair for him. You know,
Okay.
because adaptive chair for him,
S-
so that
Adaptive chair. Okay. 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 One of it is using a chair, like you say. Other than
yes.
that,
And I wonder his eyes is look not good, right? So that we
uh,
can see,
uh,
something help him to see more clearly on the table.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, not only the
Yes.
stress on the table. Yeah, the set.
Yes. Yes, he's wearing glasses. Okay. He might be. I think he's just maybe not a visual impairment. He's just wearing
Yes,
glasses, but this position, yeah, it's maybe the child is not it's
see
not seeing
clearly.
clearly.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that he all the way to do so close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the table is not
Mm.
good for him. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's
good.
my idea. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, other than that, any other? If they don't use chairs, maybe they can use lounge board. Okay, good. Okay, they can use lounge board. Okay, that's a good idea. This is one of the school that I visit. Okay, they don't have chairs. They just only use this desk, and all of their students uh, uh, do the activities during their class mostly in a seated position. Okay. So, what I suggest to the teachers, okay, if they're not doing writing activities, they can remove the table. Okay, they can also the teacher also can also encourage the students to write in prone position, okay, or write on whiteboard, okay, write on at the wall, okay. But what you are suggesting just now is good using slam board. Okay, okay. Try maybe the school need to try find a chair. Okay, appropriate chair and desk for the children. Okay. So going to the next slide. Oops. Okay, this is the example of checklist on gross motor skills. Okay. Um, Usually, the checklist contain other skill as well. It's a checklist for school readiness, but I just put here the one on motor skills because it's the topic for our course today. Okay, for this checklist, it helps teachers to observe and identify if there is any gross motor skills difficulties among their students. If a child has overall difficulties in this area, which means that the teacher tick all yes in the box. Okay, this may indicate a need for occupational therapy, evaluation, or intervention. So the teacher may discuss to refer to an OT with the parents. Okay, if not all the boxes are ticked, let's say if the child is having difficulties in number 7. Sorry, I just number 7, which is poor posture, poor desk posture. The teacher knows that the difficulty is related to gross motor skills and may want to do stimulation activities to increase gross motor skills, or you can do screening to further identify which area that affecting his ability to maintain good body posture during class. Okay. So this one is the checklist for fine motor skills. Okay, so we can go through one by one, I think, for gross motor skill. Okay, number 1, if the child seems weaker or tires more easily than other children. Okay. some okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Can you hear, can you see this clearly? The slide? Okay, number 2 is difficulty with hopping, jumping, skipping, or running compared to others. Okay, appears clumsy. Okay, always bump into things. Okay, or has difficulty force. This means that like if he has difficulty in putting too much force when writing or holding pencil. Okay, always break pencils when writing. Okay. And also number 4, hesitates to climb or play on playground equipment. Okay, which I think a teacher just shared about this just now. Okay, reluctant to participate in sports or physical activity. Okay, doesn't like physical activity. Okay, seems difficult to learn new motor tasks. Okay, difficulties in imitating movement. Okay, especially during physical class activity. Okay, and also poor desk posture. Okay. Um, okay. The box is actually the chat box. Okay. So sometimes I would move it to the upside so that I can see your comment. Okay, so there's one here saying that difficulty in how many energy they want to use while touching his friends. Yes, so this child might seems a bit rough. Okay, when playing with friends. Okay, so that also appears in number 3. Okay. Okay, so fine motor skills. Uh, you will observe whether the child is having difficulty writing or drawing. Okay, is the child has poor pencil grasp? Okay, is he easily fatigued during writing or pencil and paper activity? Hand dominance, okay, is still not there yet, even after the age of 6. Okay, difficulty with clothing fasteners, shoe tying, drinking cup, okay, or drinking containers, opening pencil box, okay, and then difficulties with scissoring activity. Okay. So it's the same if the child is having difficulties. If you tick all yes in this box, okay, you might want to refer to an OT. Okay, so if just let's say just one box, it just says that your student is having difficulties with fine motor, and you may want to do screening or stimulation activities to enhance his or her fine motor skills. Okay. So motor skill screening. For screening, I will focus on assessing motor skill performance for children aged 7 years and above. Okay, so it has gross motor skill and fine motor skills. These are the component of the gross and fine motor skills that we will be discussing. Okay, for gross motor, we will look at how we will look at how to assess balance skills, okay, movement planning and body coordination. For fine motor skills, looking at the student's pencil grasp, visual motor skills, hand manipulation, and pre-writing skills. Okay, sorry. Okay, how to assess gross motor skills. Okay. The materials that you need is a tennis ball and colored tape. Okay. So the screening areas, just like I mentioned just now, is the balancing skills. Okay, you can do this through standing on one feet. Okay, movement planning or or we call it as motor planning. Walk on straight lines. Okay, body coordination, throwing and catching ball. Okay, uh, I just want to know have you ever tried these activities before with your students?
Yes. Yes, we have to. Yeah,
Okay,
to done.
good. Okay, so it will be easier for you to do that. Okay. Okay, so someone said in my school we have sensory room. Okay, that's interesting. Can you share a bit about the sensory room that you have at your school and what do you do with the sensory room? Teacher Ainul Huda.
Hi.
Hi.
So, actually, in my school, we develop one room for uh, sensory room. So, we apply this all the activity in all subject when we teach them. So, we always use what we call uh, learning through playing. So it more fun, and then uh, we can see their disabilities. Either they can throw the ball, or either they can jump on the trampoline or not, or they can balance their body in the gym ball or not. So we can do assessment on that time also.
Mm. Okay, that's good. Okay, okay. Uh, Also, Andrea, with my class, we use a different ball. I prefer the softer one to avoid injuries because most of them cannot control their strength. Okay, softer ball. Okay, so for assessing gross motor skills, okay, the tennis because I prefer to use tennis ball because it can bounce, it can bounce when we bounce the ball we can where how to say if you use a ball that is softer, it doesn't really bounce nicely. So it's hard for a certain child to catch the ball. Okay, so if using a tennis ball, it can really bounce. So for some children, it's even in standardized assessment, okay, they use tennis ball, okay, for assessment only, not for intervention. If intervention, it is okay. It's very good to use if you identify that your children is having difficulties with controlling their strength, so you use softer ball, so that's good for intervention. But for assessment, for screening purpose, okay, it's better to use a tennis ball, okay, so that we can identify clearly the ability of the child. Okay, okay. I will show how to play. How to do it later. Okay. Okay. So for this, we need a tennis ball and colored tape. Okay. 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 So that's good to know that you use the softer ball for intervention class. Okay, so for the activity standing on one feet, okay, you have to count for 10, ask the child to count to 10 but when standing on one feet, okay. Usually children aged 7 years and above, they can stand for about 10 seconds or more. If let's say the child, even he is 8 years old, but doesn't really doesn't know. I mean, doesn't perform in this activity. Maybe he can stand only for 4 seconds. So the gross motor the child age for this activity maybe less than 7 years. Okay. Yes, it's from adapted from movement ABC. Okay. Okay, check height on slide. Okay. Okay. So let the child stand on one feet that he or she feels comfortable with. Okay, you can allow for 2 attempts. If the child fails to stand for 10 seconds for the first attempts, okay, you can try for the second attempts. Okay, so for this activity, if the child failed to stand for 10 seconds, it might indicate that he or she is having difficulties with balancing activities. Okay. Okay. Someone says she lives sorry. Someone says that uh sh- he lives I'm not sure. Okay. Sorry, I have to move this. Okay, I love tennis ball. It can give input tactile on my student hands. Yes, that's true. Okay. This one. Okay, next activity is walking on straight line. Okay. Make sure it has to be heel to toe. Okay. So allow 2 attempts as well. You need to demonstrate first. Okay, how to demonstrate is in the picture here. Walk on the straight line. The heel needs to touch the toe. Okay, maximum of 15 steps. Okay. So if the child becomes wobbly, okay, it's okay as long as they do not fall or they do not step out of the line. If they step out of the line, it means that maybe they have difficulties with planning the body movement or as well as balancing. Okay. Actually, for this session, it is best if we can do it together, but I'm not sure as well how to do it. So I think by showing this picture, it might help you to give an idea of how we need to do it. Okay, is there anyone who has questions about this? No? Okay. Okay, important heel to toe, not who finish first. Okay, yes, that's true. You might give times to the child to do the heel to toe. Okay, encourage the child not to do it in rush. Okay. Okay, next is throwing ball to the wall and catch with 2 hands. Okay, so we will do it in 10 trials. Okay, for children whose age is 7 to 8 years, usually they will bounce the ball on the floor before catching the ball. Okay, it's okay for them because it's appropriate for their age. Okay, for a child who is 9 to 10 years old, to 9 to 10 years old, you need to make sure that the child is able to catch the ball with 2 hands. Okay, he needs to throw the ball to the wall and catch with with 2 hands without bouncing it. Okay. Okay, so from this activity, you can see how the child plan his body to catch the ball. Okay, is he able to catch the ball with 2 hands? Okay, within the 10 trials. Okay, if he doesn't catch the ball, even it's 10 times, it indicates that he has difficulties with this activity. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay, now we're going to assess 5 motor skills. Do you have any questions on the motor skill? Okay, so how we can arrange one observation for student? How many times? How many tests have to do? How to write the report of students? Okay, okay. Many times. How many times to do the assessment? Is it what do you mean? Or how many tests you have? Okay. Okay. Many times you want to do with the students the screening? It depends. Okay, depends on you actually. Okay, the moment that you identify that he's having difficulties in gross motor skills, okay, if you want to know further which aspect or which area that he's having difficulties in gross motor, you can do the screening, okay, and then after doing the screening, you have identified the problem area. Maybe he's having difficulties with balancing, or maybe he's having difficulties with movement planning or coordination, body coordination. So from that moment, you can plan your activities to intervene that, okay? And then after maybe sometime, if you it depends on how you set your goals, okay? How you set your objective. Okay, maybe another 3 months if you want to to do reassessment or to screen again, you can do that in 3 months or maybe in 6 months. It all depends on your objective. Okay. Uh, okay. So is it clear?
Yeah, it's very clear. It's my question. So thank you so much. I can understand more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. So we move on to assessing fine motor skills. Okay, for fine motor skills, we need a pencil color, scissor, lace, okay, shoelace actually, or any lace, okay, and cardboard. Okay, the screening areas that we want to focus is looking at the pencil grasp of the child, okay, visual motor skills, okay, through copying shapes, numbers, and sentence, hand manipulation, okay, through cutting skills and threading lace activity, and pre-writing skills, okay, through coloring activities. Okay, we'll go that in the next slides, okay? My computer can sometimes be a bit slow, so bear with me. Okay, so this one. Okay, we've seen this yesterday. So can someone recall which one is the functional uh, pencil graphs? Which one is immature pencil graphs? Oh, oops, sorry. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but cannot see
Okay.
your screen.
Oh,
Now
the
it's okay.
slide. Okay, can you see the slide now?
Yes, we can see the slide.
Okay. So which one is the functional pencil grass?
Tripod grass.
Okay, the tripod. Again, okay, sorry, the tripod and do you have any other functional graphs here?
Quadruple point. Also can.
Okay, yes, okay, good. So the immature will be the pincer grass, palma, and digital pronate grass. Okay. Okay, so this is activities to identify visual motor skills. Okay, copying shapes. Okay, so for 3 years old child, it is expected they will be able to draw a circle. Okay. So you may need to ask your students. Okay, first, okay, can you draw a circle for me? Okay, next one is the cross picture. Okay, ask your student to copy cross pictures, cross shapes like this. Okay, so it is expected at the age of 4 years old, the student can copy this shape. Okay, so it's now a questions for all of you. What do you think if the student is able to to draw a circle and a cross? What letters that he or she will be able to write?
O,
Oh, yes, that's good.
Q,
Q, okay, Q is no, actually.
no, okay. C,
C, okay.
and
C,
maybe
A, okay. Is there any other answer? So
X.
far, O, X, okay.
B,
B,
D.
E, okay. Good. Okay. Someone says V as well. U, T, X, K. Okay. So the answer is, oops. Okay. LOFTEHI. Okay. This is because the circle and the cross is only involve horizontal and vertical line as well as curve. So the child is expected to be able to write these letters. Okay, if they pass the circle and the cross test. Okay. 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 For why does okay, for 5 years of age, it is expected for a child to be able to draw a square. Okay. And then a triangle for 5.5 years of age. Okay, diamond, 6 years. Okay, this plus sign, 7 years. Okay. These pictures. The child is expected to be able to copy these pictures as well. And last one, 9 years student will be able to copy the cylinder shape here. Okay. Okay. So this is an example of my students as well. Okay, I asked her to copy the shapes here. First start with a circle, a triangle, and he's 9 years old. Okay, so until here, until the cylinder. So what do you think is the age, the actual age for visual motor for this child? Does anyone has an answer? Okay, so he's able to draw the circle. He's able to draw the cross. Okay, he passed on the square. He passed on the triangle, diamond. However, he got stuck on this one, the plus sign, and the pictures after that. So his visual motor age is at the age of 6 years old. Yes, good. Okay. So if you want to provide like activities for this child, you might want to ask him to copy just the simple sentences, okay? Just the simple words, okay? Um, because he might be having difficulties with copying long sentences, okay? And also for information, it is expected that children who pass on the triangle, okay, the shape of triangle, is able to write ABC, the 24 alphabets, okay? So for children who's maybe still can write only 3 years old, at he can draw only circle, you may want to um, you may you may avoid uh, writing ABC. Okay, for the child, you may want to focus on visual motor activities with her. Okay, encourage a lot of copying shapes. Okay, encourage her to do more on the cross shapes, square shapes, and triangle. And after the triangle, then you can start focus on writing alphabets. Okay, so for this one, what do you think is the age for visual motor age for this child?
0.
Less than 3.
Yes, it's less than
Less
3.
than
So
3
for
years.
this child, yes. Okay, he can only do the vertical and horizontal line, which is true. It's the actual age is less than 3. Actually, at the age of 2 years, a child is expected to be able to do straight and vertical lines. Okay, so for this child, you may want to encourage yes, doing the circle shapes, okay, do a lot of visual motor tasks such as dot to dot, okay, and so on. Okay, for this one, what is the visual motor age for this child?
5 years old.
Yes, it's 5 years old. So all of this child is 9 years old, okay? The client that I assess, all of them is 9 years old. So this one is also 5 years old. Okay. Okay, so another activity that you can do with a child is copying numbers. You can provide numbers with them, or if you want to read aloud the numbers and then ask them to write in the box. Okay. Okay, make sure that they copy the numbers in boxes given in the correct form. Okay, make sure that there's no mirror image. If there is mirror image, it may indicates that they may have visual motor difficulties. Okay. Okay, for students less than 7 years old, you may want them to write numbers in sequence. You can ask them write numbers in sequence, 1 until 10, and write in the box given. Okay. Sorry, my computer got stuck. Okay, so another activities for visual motor skills is copying sentence. Okay, this is a standard sentence for you to assess on visual motor and also assess on writing skills. Okay, which is the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Okay, make sure to put what we call this full stop at the end of the sentence. Okay, so do you have any idea why do we use this sentence to assess for visual motor and writing skills? Have you is there anyone who used this sentence to check on their students' writing skills? Okay, good. All letters of the alphabet are there. Okay, yes, that's true. It contains all the letters from A to Z. Okay, so next is hand manipulation. Okay, on the cutting skills. Okay, you can ask the students to cut simple picture. Okay, I usually use this picture which I draw myself, a picture of the flower. Okay. Also, when assessing cutting skills, you have to make sure that you use appropriate scissor for the child. Okay, use the correct size of the child, the correct size of the scissor. Okay, so what to observe? Okay, you will observe the use of dominant and non-dominant hand. Okay, which one is dominant, which one is non-dominant. Usually, the non-dominant will be used to support the dominant hand. Okay, the non-dominant will hold the paper, while the dominant hand will hold the scissor. Okay, you will also observe the child how he use his eye and hand to coordinate movement while cutting. Okay, is he able to cut according to lines? Okay, and also is he able to manipulate the paper using the non-dominant hand? Okay, that's the thing that you will observe during cutting skills. Okay, this is an example of this appropriate scissor for a child. Okay, we call it safety scissor. Okay, it has a small loop for small fingers. Also, it has a spring. Okay, that assists with snipping. Okay, so for a child who doesn't know how to open and close the scissor, this kind of scissor is very good for them because it has a spring in it, so that the child can learn just to snip. Okay. Okay, it also has a blunt tip. Okay. Has anyone ever used this kind of scissor?
Yes, sometimes we use
Uh,
the safety systematic to check the fine
mhm.
motor skill for the children. Yeah.
Okay,
And
good.
I write some shape on the paper so that they can follow the shape, so that we can
Oh, okay.
check. Yeah, we can check clearly, not only
Okay.
fine motor skill, but also we can check the knowledge IQ test too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay,
useful.
that's good. Okay. Uh, okay, so this is the for scissoring skills, this is the stages actually. If you want to teach scissoring skills, it must goes according to this stage. Okay, so for scissoring skills, it is expected at the age of 3 years old. Okay, the child will be able to snip papers. Okay, the snipping is looks like this, looks as in the picture. And 3 years and above until the age of 4, okay, he's able to do thing, okay, as in the picture.
Okay.
Okay, and then after that, the child is expected at the age of 4 years until 5 years, able to cut straight lines, angle lines. Okay, angle line is much more difficult for the child because the child has to learn to manipulate the paper while cutting the lines. Okay, next is at the age of 5 years. Sorry, 6 years, sorry. Uh, wavy lines and then circles. Okay. Mm, okay. And then 7 years and above. Okay. Uh, it is expected the child can is to be able to cut spinning lines. And then if the child passes the spinning line, he's able to do the geometrical shapes, okay? Cut and paste activity, okay? Cut simple pictures, okay. 7 years and above, Complex, 7 years and above, complex shapes and do the cutting and pasting activities. Okay. Okay, so this is an example on my one of my client. Okay, from this picture only, what can you see about this child?
The way of the
Okay.
he holding the scissor is not in the
Okay.
good what do we call good
Position,
position.
is it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's true. The child is in awkward position when holding the scissor. Okay. Other than that, okay. So we know that the child is having difficulties with visual motor skill as well, right? Because he's find it's hard for him to cut according to the line. Okay, he just snip the paper. Okay, and also look at the hand movement here. I think you can guess how he cut the paper. Okay. He's also having difficulties to hold the paper using the non-dominant hand. Okay. Okay, right. Can't hold the scissor in good position. That's true. Is there any other observation that you can tell? Okay. Or is it just that we have summarized everything, I think? Okay. Okay, so next for observing hand manipulation through threading lace. Okay, you will need, okay, someone cut through flower. Okay, I think I just got the message. Okay, about the scissoring activity. Okay, someone says that can't hold the scissor in good position and then he cut through the flower, which is true. He struggled to hold paper as well. Okay, all of these indicates that he's having difficulties with visual motor. Okay, so uh, we we will need to plan the activities. Okay, we will need to include or integrate visual motor activities in his lesson. Okay, so for hand manipulation through the threading lace activities, you will need lacing card, okay, and a shoelace. Okay, okay. Mhm. Okay, so the first thing for threading lace activity is you need to demonstrate to the child first how to thread lace. Okay, give one demonstration, and after that you can ask the child to thread lace using the lacing card and shoelace. Okay, and allow time for the child to complete tasks. Okay, what you will observe is that how the child manipulate the card. Okay, how he same thing, how he use hands to control the lacing card, also how he or she use dominant and non-dominant hand. Okay, is he able to put the shoelace in all of the holes in the lacing card? Okay, can he remember as well how to do it? Okay, uh, okay, so we move on. Next is pre-writing skills, which is through coloring activities. Okay, you can ask the child to color simple shape or simple pictures. Okay, usually what I do is I ask the child to color this the shape of a triangle. Okay, so for 3 to 6 years old, it is expected that the child can color in vertical and horizontal direction. Okay, will exceed the line, but not more than half inch of the shape or picture. Okay, so for 7 to 10 years, okay, it is able, the child is able to color in one direction and does not exceed 1/4 inch of shape or picture. For 11 years and above, it is expected that the students can color in one direction and does not exceed line. So he or she can color beautifully for age 11 years and above. Okay. Okay, for coloring skills, oh, sorry. Okay, to teach coloring skills for children who has difficulties like coloring out of the line, okay, having difficulties to control hand movement, okay, or if he colors, he get messy. How do you teach these children? Sorry, why doesn't? Okay. So using a large or small picture first. Okay. Okay, good. Someone say small. Okay. Yes, that's true. It's small. We want to encourage them to color within the line. Okay, so we ask them to color small picture first. Okay, and to color shapes first rather than pictures, simple pictures. Shapes like circles, triangle, shape, uh, diamond, like in the picture. Okay. Okay, so this is some of the OT tricks that I usually do with my client. Okay, one is using this cardboard, as you can see. Okay, sorry. The computer stuck again. I hope you can see the slides on your screen.
Yeah, we can see.
It's a okay. So it's a picture of a cardboard. Okay, the cardboard is cut into shapes. Okay, so the child is asked to color within the cardboard. Okay, so the cardboard will help the child to develop coloring skills because it gives some sort of like a tactile signal when the child tries to color out of the line. Okay. So for child who has lack of motor control, okay, so this will kind of help them. Has anyone used this trick before?
Yes, we have ever did it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Uh, is there any tips that uh, anyone would like to share about coloring skills? How they teach coloring skills to their students? Ruler shape, yes. Okay, good. The ruler shape. Okay. Other than that,
So can I share some my ideas?
oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You're
With
welcome.
yeah, okay. The color scheme, right? So we not only use the crayon. I see that on of
Mm-hmm.
yours. Yeah, we can use many kind. How can I say the color
Me-
things
me-
like a pencil
mm,
color, like a pencil
mm,
color, like sharp color pens too. We can use a lot of, and sometimes we can
mm,
use with some plate with the
mm,
color thing together. Yeah.
mm.
How can I say?
So it's using a lot of medium, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
For coloring activities.
yeah.
Is it include like a
Yes,
brush and
yes,
watercolor? Okay,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Okay, that's good.
yeah.
That is one of a good strategies for teaching coloring skills.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And as you know, there's some difficulties. Children, they have some problem with the sensory things that they
Mm-hmm.
touch. So we so care to use um, the comfortable, the most comfortable for them to use.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Especially students who has difficulties in like who doesn't like to be touched, is it? Who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like
Yeah.
the texture of a certain like watercolor and then so uh
And
using the brush will
Yes.
help them as well. Is
Mhm.
it?
Yes. And
Okay.
what do you think? Sometimes we can use the power. I mean, the the power which we made the bread. You mean the bread, the
The
power
the
which
pa.
made
Oh, okay. The
yeah
flower.
yeah
Okay. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. Yes.
yeah to
That's
use with the
good.
color. Yes.
Okay.
And
So you use like a coloring
yes
to
yes
add
yes
in
yes yes
the flower. Okay.
yes
Okay.
something like this.
Uh,
Yeah, it's very
so
funny. Yeah.
so for that is for children who doesn't like who
Mm-hmm.
has sensitivities
Pencil.
to
Yes.
tactiles, is it? Okay. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Next. Okay. Oops. Hmm. Oh. Okay. Okay, so we've come to the conclusion. Okay, so what I can conclude from today's sharing. Okay, teachers can use checklists and screening tools to identify delays in motor skill, to plan activities that suits the child's need. Okay, if you have teacher can always refer to OT for further evaluation and intervention in regards to motor skills. Okay. So before we end, I also have a quiz for all of you. So we can go through together. Okay. About yesterday and today's session. Okay. So we'll start now. Okay. For number one, okay, you can use the comment area to type in the answer. Okay, number one, below are the strategies to help children with hearing impairment to learn motor skills. Accept. Okay, is it A, utilize visual supports, B, use simple instructions and clear verbal cues, and C, use specialized equipment such as guide bar. Okay. Sorry, what's this? Okay. Okay. Okay, before that, I just received the message regards to someone's asking about uh okay, actually someone also shares about the coloring activities in the comment area. Okay, my computer got stuck. Okay, so I missed that. Okay, so someone, Andrea says that we sing nursery rhyme first, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, because of the open close hand exercise. Okay, in the actual coloring activity, I tape the shape to the paper and shape to the desk so that the learner can focus first in coloring. Okay, that's one of the good idea using a tape, okay, for coloring activities. Thank you for sharing. Okay, use cotton bud to color. Also good idea. Okay. And also a question. Who can do the assessment for motor skills for student? OT teacher will be trained. Okay. Assessment, the standardized assessment, if you refer to the standardized assessment such as movement ABC, okay, the assessment needs qualified professionals to do that. Okay, if you want to do a screening, yes, you can do as activities like I share with you today. Okay, the activity is just for the purpose of screening. Okay, um, so it's not really standardized. It is based on the movement at ABC actually, but we can use that as an activity just to observe our child, our students. Okay. Okay. Previous. Is that clear, Mr. The one who asked me, Mr. Nguyen? Is it? Is that do I answer your questions about the assessment for motor skills?
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Because I think that the screening is more easier than assessment. Assessment is mean you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder about that.
The assessment is actually quite long. It takes time rather than the screening. I refer to the movement ABC because the screening is actually I take a lot of the activity from the movement ABC and in even in the usual practice, even if I'm practicing at my clinic, sometimes is if I want to do screening, just the screening, okay, that's the activity that I will do to the students. Okay. If compared to the movement ABC, it needs a professional it needs to be done by the professional, qualified professional, and also it takes quite some time to do that. Okay. Okay. Okay, move on to the quiz. Okay. So number one, there are answers saying that A for this is for hearing impairment. Okay. Someone says okay, strategies to help hearing impairment accept. Okay. Utilize visual support. B, simple instructions. C, use specialized equipment. The answer is actually C. Okay, congratulations for those who got the correct answer. Okay, maybe it's kind of tricky because it has except here. Okay. Good morning, ma'am. I'm so sorry, but I got a problem regarding my internet connection. Okay, it's okay. I've also have problem with the internet here. Okay. Okay, so someone said okay, I can hear it and I miss some of the pictures. Okay. So no, number 2. Go on to the question number 2. Palmar graphs is considered as functional graphs for writing. Is it true? Okay, move on. Okay. 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 I just got the message here. Okay, a lot of you says the answer is B for number 1, okay? Okay, I think it's a bit tricky here because it say accept. So the answer is actually C, use specialized equipment such as guide bar. Guide bar is usually for visual impairments. So we're talking about hearing impairments. Okay, so some teachers here also have trouble with internet connection. It's okay. Okay. 1A and B. Okay. Okay, number 2A, true. Yes, Palmar graphs is considered as functional graphs for writing. Are you sure it's true? Palmar graphs is this one? Okay, so B, it's false. Okay, good. Okay. Number 1A. Okay, Palma is for reflex. Okay, someone says Palma is for reflex. Okay, we also have a reflex, Palma reflex, but we're talking about pencil graphs. Okay. To be, okay. Okay, the answer for number 1 is C. Okay. Okay, so moving to the next question, number 3. Okay. Which one may assist a child who is having difficulties with tactile processing and writing? Okay, A, use pencils or crayon with bigger grips or size. Provide a copy of lesson so the child can copy from desk. Okay, use mirror. C, use mirror to provide visual feedback. Okay, which one that can assist children who has tactile processing and writing? A, okay, good. Everyone got the answer A?
Yes. Letter A.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so next, number 4. Slant board can be used to elevate the writing surface for a child who is having difficulties with copying tasks. Okay, number 4, A, someone says B. Okay. Maybe, okay, someone says, a few says B. Okay. Well, it's actually true. Okay, we can use, if you can remember, yesterday we talked about slant board helps to heighten the position of the paper so that it's easier for the child to look at the paper or to read. Okay, and also it's easier for the child to copy from the whiteboard. Okay. Number 5. Okay. So number 5, children with visual perception dysfunction may have difficulties to differentiate similar letters such as U and N or P, Q and B. Is it true or false? Okay, true. Okay, true. Okay, a lot of people say true, which is very true. Okay. Okay, good job, everyone. Okay, everyone agrees it's a true statement. Okay, so we move on to next, number 6. Okay, visual motor dysfunction is the same as dyslexia. Okay, is it true or false? I usually receive a lot of questions about this when I talk about visual perception. Okay, so yeah. How about everyone's here? What do you think? Is it a true statement or false statement?
A.
B, okay. B, okay. Someone say there is someone says about A, true.
A.
Okay. B, okay. A lot of people says it's a false statement, which is very true. It's not. Visual motor dysfunction is not the same as dyslexia. Um, okay, you have to remember that um, the symptoms can be the same, okay? But dyslexia is a problem with processing spoken or written language. Uh, However, visual motor dysfunction or visual perception is a problem with interpreting what the eyes sees. Okay, so it's a different thing. Okay, a child who has dyslexia might have visual perception difficulties, but a child with visual perception difficulties will not I mean he may not has dyslexia. Okay, he may have just the visual perception difficulties. Okay, so you have to remember that it's not the same. Okay. Okay, so it's good also. A lot of people says it's a false statement. Okay, number 7. Okay, below is the effect of W sitting except, okay, A, pigeon-toed walking. B, encourage child's abilities in activities such as jumping, running, and climbing. Okay, it says that W sitting can encourage child's abilities in activities such as jumping, running, and climbing. Okay, C, long-term postural problem. Okay, again, read the questions carefully. It says accept there. Okay, a lot of people answer B. Okay, which is very true. Okay, W sitting actually does not encourage jumping, running, and climbing. Okay, it can, in fact, it can affect negatively on this activity. Okay. Okay. So number 8. Number 7 is the answer is B. Okay, number 8, observation in throwing and catching ball activity will provide an idea on which motor skills. Okay. Okay, good. A lot of teachers says it's B. Sorry. Previous.
It's number B.
Yes, good. Body coordination. Okay. So far, everyone answer B, I think. Okay. So moving to the next question. Sorry, wait for a while. The internet is a bit slow, I think. Okay, number 9. Okay. Okay, at the age of blank sentence, years old, a child is expected to be able to draw a circle. Okay. Number 9. Okay.
Number 9, that's letter B.
Yes, good. Good job. Number 9. Oh, someone say C.
Letter
Okay.
B. Letter B.
Yes, the answer is B.
How to read?
B.
Where do I have to write? I just
Mm,
have to speak.
Okay, at the age of 3 years old, okay, the child is expected to draw a circle. So for 4 years old, the child will be able to draw a cross. Okay, if you can remember, just now we share about the visual motor activities. Okay, copying shapes activities. Okay. Okay, number 10, for a child who is having difficulties with motor control, it is best to teach coloring skills by encouraging the child to color small shape first. A, true or false?
Bakit, anak ko?
Okay, number 10. Okay, B, A, B. Okay, so there's a lot of you saying A.
Ah,
Okay, a lot of you saying B as well. Okay, so just now I said it's actually true. Okay, so for a child who's having difficulties with motor control, that he doesn't know how to color within lines, okay, he will color out of lines, okay, so that is having difficulties to control his hand. So we will encourage the child to color small shapes first, okay, so that he's able to focus on coloring that area first? Okay. Yes, the answer is A. Okay, so with that quiz, I end my sharing today with all of you. I hope I have explained clearly on my part. Okay, tomorrow is session part 3, which will be presented by my OT friend, which is Mr. Sharizal. He will explain more on the strategies and activities that you can do with your students in the classroom. Okay, thank you everyone as well, okay, for participating.